Claude Design was just launched, and in this video, I'm going to go through the onboarding and test it out so you can see exactly what it's like and if it's something that you should use yourself. So here we are in the Claude Design dashboard. So on the left side, it looks like we have a few different settings that we can create. So we can create a prototype, either a wireframe or high fidelity. So this is going to be great for building app designs. And I'm pretty sure that we can take our prototypes and then import them into Claude Code, which is pretty cool. Then we have a slide deck feature. We have the ability to start from a template and you can create templates, or we can just start from, I guess, just a general design file. Now, before we get into actually building, I want to set up a design system. So by setting up a design system, anyone can create good looking designs and assets that are going to match our brand. So let's click Setup Design System, and we're going to go through this onboarding together. And while it might seem a little bit technical to go through the design system, I think it's really important because if Claude is able to get this right, we're going to be able to create great designs every single time without having to reuse context. So I'm going to try to have a created design system for No-Code MBA. So we're going to go ahead and continue. And it says it will take about 5 minutes to generate our design system. So we can step away, keep the tab open in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate. So it's creating our design system. On the left side, we can see what it's doing. It's going to explore the provided assets and product context, and then create a bunch of more information. And it's also going to explore the No-Code MBA brand from the web before starting, which is cool. So it should go to our website. Looks like it's doing that right now to actually get our design as a starting point. So we can start reviewing this draft design system. It's still working, but it says we can start giving feedback, which I think is a nice touch that it's having us do this. So it says it's missing the brand fonts. So it's rendering typography with substitute web fonts. That's fine with me. Then I see brand colors. I'm going to go ahead and say this looks good. Neutrals, I'm going to say that looks good. Semantic colors, let's say looks good. I like the gradients. I'm going to accept that as well. In terms of the type scale, that looks good. It looks pretty close to our actual site. The logo, that looks good. It's pretty close to what we actually have. I'm going to accept the buttons, the cards. It got all of this from our website. So it's quite close to or exactly the same of what our actual site is. So here, a full bleed recreation of our site. This is really cool. So it basically took our actual website and recreated it using the design system, and it looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and say that is good. The course app, the members only course plan and curriculum. This is really interesting. I actually don't even know how it got this because this is behind a paywall, but I'm guessing what it did is it just used the design system and created it from scratch. This just happens to look very similar to what our actual members portal looks like because we used a design system. So yeah, okay. So I think it didn't actually get access, but it just estimated what it looks like. Okay. All right. So the design system is now ready. So it should be all set. It's published. And now we can actually create things using this design system. So let's go home. So now under design systems, we have our design system here. I can make this the default design system created 17 minutes ago. So that's it. It did take, about maybe 10 minutes to create it. That's published. So that's the design system. So now let's start creating something. And because that design system is now set to the default, all of our new designs are going to use that design system. So let's create a new high fidelity prototype. So I'm going to call this mobile app design. And let's go ahead and create this. And I assume now we're going to get to actually start building. So start with context. We can start. I don't know if I have to click design system because it said the default is going to be used, but I can go ahead and just click No-Code MBA design system anyway. So I'll click use. So maybe it wasn't going to be used by default. I have to click it. So what I want to create is a mobile app homepage mockup for, let's say I wanted to create a mobile app for members of No-Code MBA to actually watch videos. So a mobile app, a homepage mockup for No-Code MBA members to watch videos. Just create the homepage right now. Let's go ahead and send that off. And first it's going to explore the design system. And then let's come back once we have the result that Claude Design creates. So Also, let me know in the comments what you think of this, what you think this is like a competitor to. I don't know if this is necessarily going to replace Figma yet, although I think it's definitely going to eat into some of the lower end of the market. So people like me, solopreneurs, I think that people who have a design system in Figma and work with a lot of people, I don't know that this has the collaboration features yet. Maybe in the future it would be able to potentially take over some of that market. Maybe this is going to take over more of like the Canva market. We can try to create some marketing collateral later on in this video to see how it compares for that. Right now, I feel like it's kind of just expanding the market for design as opposed to taking over the Figma market. That's just my own personal opinion, but let's see what the result is here. Okay, so we have our first version here. First impressions is it's really good. Now, something that's interesting to me is I've already been using the Claude app for design mockups, but this is better than using just the Claude chat for a few reasons. First is the design system. I think that's huge. So right off the bat, it looks really good and fits in really well with our website. And then there's other features built into the platform where I can like draw, I can circle things, I can make edits directly in the dashboard. I can make comments, which is pretty cool. So I could say, okay, let's say improve the look of this play button. And I can click send to Claude. And now over here on the left side, it's working. So basically just kind of like there's features built in this editor to make it easier than just using the chat and going back and forth. And then also just having everything in one place is really nice in terms of the designs. Now, again, do I think this is going to kill every design tool? I don't think so. I think that the market is expanding. I think that every other design tool also has access to these models and can build in and are building in these types of features. But I still do think this is a really, really cool tool that I would recommend anyone try out, especially if you already have a Claude subscription. Okay, so I can reload for a new version. And here we go. Really like that, actually. Cool. All right, so it was as easy as just using the comment feature, going in and then asking Claude to update it. Then there's a tweaks feature. So we can ask Claude to add sliders or options. So for example, slider for border radius, color picker for accent. So let's try that. Let's do a color picker for accents and send this off. So I'm really actually curious of what this is going to look like. I think it's going to create a new element on this screen that I'll be able to visually interact with to make tweaks to see what I like. And this is where human taste really comes into play. It's not just about asking the AI to make something better. It's about working with the AI and using your human taste to decide what actually looks good and what doesn't look good. So after we try this out, the next thing we're going to do is create some social media content. And you're going to want to stick around to see how well Claude does with that. So now on the bottom right, we have a little element that Claude built for us that we can use to change the color. And let's see, I think I can even change it to like a specific color that I want. So if I want to make it like green, and you can see this is changing the buttons, it's changing the notification, it's changing these bars. So it's updating the accent color here. And now I don't know if it's not perfect because look, it's changing all of the accents except for this one. And then also it's not perfect because I noticed that when I click these pre-selected ones, the color it's selecting here isn't matching up exactly to this. So there's a lot of potential here with this feature, but it's not perfect yet. But it is cool that we can do this. We can turn this on and off. And it looks like here I can turn off tweaks. But if I turn it back on, it'll show up here. So we could add more tweaks if we wanted to allow us to make more modifications. Okay, so this was created. I'm going to go ahead and go back home. And again, let's start working on some social media content. So I'm going to go into other type social media content with this design system. Let's create it. So it has the design system. And then let's write a prompt. This is going to be a little bit meta, but I'm going to have it create an Instagram story highlighting the newest Claude Design feature that was just released. So here you can see it says it's going to do it. It's asking some questions here. This is pretty cool because these types of questions are normally done here in the chat, but it almost like created a design in the editor for this. So let's answer these questions. Which Claude Design feature should the story highlight? Let's have it highlight, let's say tweaks. That's pretty cool. How many story variations? Let's say 3 variations. I would say playful and bold. Or maybe product screenshot forward. I like that one. Be curious to see what it does. Call to action. Let's just say no CTA, just announce. And we're going to use No-Code MBA's brand. and we're going to make this animated like a real Instagram story. I'm actually curious to see if they can actually do that. I feel like static would be a little bit simpler. So let's make it more complicated to see if it actually can. And let's continue and let it build this out. All right, so we have our variations and they are looping. It looks like it's basically like changing the color here. That's really cool, actually, because you saw the tweaks feature earlier where basically it was the ability to like change the color. This is exactly what is happening. It's actually funny because it's doing a better job here in this little example with the colors matching than what we saw. Yeah, really cool. Why don't I say, I want to edit this a little bit though, because I want it to be clear that we are showing something that Claude created, because this isn't our product. We are just like No-Code MBA is an education platform. So I'm going to say No-Code MBA is an education platform, just sharing this new feature Claude built. So make it clear it's from Claude's new design tool. So I'm going to send this off. Really not bad at all though. Okay, so it made a change. So now it's new from Claude Design here on the top. Now I will say, I wish this was bigger, but it's still cool. Overall, not bad at all for a first version here of an Instagram story. And I like that it moves. And then I assume I would be able to download it pretty easily. So I would be able to go to share. First of all, you can share with teammates. You could download the project, export it as PDF, export it as PowerPoint. I said before, this might be a Canva killer, but you also might be able to start in Claude Design and then send to Canva afterwards. You can also export in standalone HTML or hand off to Claude Code. This is super cool, especially if you're creating prototypes in Claude Design and then you want to actually build it and turn it into a real. I still think that my main use case for Claude Design is going to be the prototyping for apps that I'm building and then moving that into Claude Code to actually build things. I need to test out the social media content a little bit more to see if that's something I'm happy with. And real quick examples here on the top, we can see some of the examples that Claude is giving us that you can create with Claude Design. So if we go down, we can see app onboarding. I think this is a really great use case so that you can create multiple pages and play that out and then send that into Claude Code to actually create text streaming. So you can kind of experiment with different ways that could look. So that's really cool. We can see 4 different ways that text streaming could come in. And again, the cool part of this is you tweak it, you see what you like, and then you can push this into Claude Code to actually create it in your actual app. And then some cool wallpapers here that it has. And then all of these have example prompts that you can click. That's going to put it here on the bottom left, and then you can customize that prompt to continue. So overall, my review of this is really, really promising. Overall, I really like it. I need to spend more time building in it, but I think this is going to replace the way that I create prototypes and mockups, especially because it has that design system. To me, the design system is key. I know every time I come in and want to create a mockup, it's going to be in my No-Code MBA design system and design, and it's going to look good and match my brand. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. Do you think this is going to be a Canva killer, a Figma killer, or just expand the market? Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.